Hi, good day. This is Coach Gerrie again, Coach Gerrie from Gerrie Superior Fitness, and I'm here with another edition of high blood pressure. Remember, in the other chapters, we talk about the cause of high blood pressure, what's the cause of high blood pressure, and we also determine the two blood pressure readings. That is very important, especially our top reading, the systolic, and our diastolic reading. We've also determined what the normal blood pressure reading would be. Example again, 120 for systolic and 80 for diastolic. We've also determined what hypertension can cause, which means when the blood pressure is excessively high, meaning high blood pressure reading from 130 to 180 systolic, and a diastolic 90 to 120 for a diastolic, and we determined that that is high. It can go up a little bit higher, but we don't want to go there, because once we go there, we are in very extreme cases, and those cases, but by that time you already be in either in a doctor's surgery, or you'll be in the ambulance on your way to hospital, or you will be already be in the hospital, in the theater, etc., etc., and you don't want to go there, right? We've also determined that high blood pressure is called a silent killer because most of the time it doesn't show any symptoms. It hardly shows symptoms. That's why it's called a silent killer. We've also determined the predisposed factors that causes high blood pressure, where we said it can be family history, we said it can be lifestyle, bad diets, etc. We also determined that could be lack of exercise. We also determined it could be excessive alcohol use, excessive tobacco use. We've also determined that there was due to a lack of exercise, right? But then we've also learned that there can be certain signs, and those signs shouldn't be ignored, especially if these things happen over a period of time. Like most of the time, people ignore it, and at the end of the day, they end up in hospital or in the doctor's surgery, where they find out the bad news that they suffer from high blood pressure, and now everybody wants to run around. But if we would have just taken note of all these little signs. These signs can be headache all the time. I mean, you don't just get a headache all the time. There's a reason for it, so don't ignore it. We also said that you faint, spell of faintness, dizziness. That's also a sign, especially if you get it all the time. Then we also discovered that you sometimes get chest pains, pain in the chest. Don't ignore pain in the chest. It could lead to something. Have yourself checked out. We've also discovered that sometimes your eyes feels blurry. It's like you can't see. It's like a blurred vision. It happens for a reason. Have it checked out, because sometimes it happens frequently, but people don't take notice it. Most of the time, guys tell me, "Oh, I had that and that," and I said, "Why didn't you have your blood pressure?" No, man. It normally happens, and it only lasts for a few seconds, a minute or so, and then it's gone. Or if I have this faint spell of dizziness and headaches, then I just take a tablet, a painkiller, and it's gone. I know, but for how long has this been happening? Right? Where there's a smoke, there's a fire. Don't ignore these signs. Still have it checked out, because if you're not going to take care of your health, who else is going to take? Nobody's going to take care of your health. Nobody cares about your health unless you take care of your own health. And it's just a fact. Not your family, nor your kids. Nobody's going to worry. If you don't worry, why would anybody else worry? It's your life. You've got only this one life, and don't waste it. Use it productively, because especially if you're a parent and a grandparent, you've got people depending on you. It might be a spouse, right? It might be a grandkid. It might be any other family member that's depending on you. They would like to see you around for a long time, but it depends on you to make sure that you're going to be around for them for a long time. Well, enough of that. Let's get to the program, right? Today we will discuss how high blood pressure affects overall health. When I say overall health, I mean the overall health, not only certain parts, but your overall health. We're going to discuss how high blood pressure affects it. Right? Let's start with the cardiovascular system. When I say the cardiovascular system, I mean the system like your heart, your lungs, etc., etc. But most important, we're going to talk about the heart, because the heart is the part here that most of the time does most of the job, because the heart must make sure that all the rest of the organs get supplied with blood, because the heart is the one that pumps the blood through to supply all the organs, including the brain, etc., etc. So, how high blood pressure affects the cardiovascular system means it causes damage to the artery walls of the heart, which means plaque buildup. Because remember, we said as blood pressure goes through, if the pressure in the systolic is high, the blood go and it hits against the artery walls and it causes tears, and through tears plaque starts building up, and that plaque is the one that starts blocking up the tube, the hole in the artery where the blood is supposed to flow through. Remember, blood is nutrient which supply the body, right? The rest of the body and also the brain. So there shouldn't be any cut-off in blood supply under any circumstance, because if that happens, it could be fatal and it could be catastrophic, right? So, yeah, so reduced blood supply, that causes a heart attack, meaning heart failure, and we don't want to go there. Most of the time, heart attacks are fatal. Sometimes it's not that fatal. If you're lucky enough. Like I said again, that also depends on how big a medical aid you have, how big a purse you have. The bigger your purse, the better chance you have. If you don't have a big purse, I'm sorry, and you have to depend on public hospitals and stuff, you might not be so lucky, because in most cases I've seen it. I've seen family members, I've seen friends, I've seen it in other people that weren't that lucky to get a second chance, because it could be fatal. Don't wait until it's there. Then we can also talk about damage to the brain, especially brain damage. The arteries of the brain also get damaged. And remember what we said, never ever should there be a shortage of blood supply. Never ever should there be a cut off or any interruptions. It can be catastrophic. In the case of the brain, it can, when there's a reduction in blood flow, it can cause a stroke. It can also cause dementia, which means due to reduced blood flow over a period of time. Remember, dementia exists, and dementia happen also over a period of time, but that's also sometimes, or most of the time, it happens because of negligence. Again, we didn't take notice of our blood pressure. We didn't take blood pressure seriously. We took it for granted. Never took it for granted, right? So then we can also say damage to the kidneys, which means the kidneys get damaged due to high blood pressure, and it cause impairing, right? Impairing means it impairs the ability of the kidneys to filter the waste products. Waste products get filtered through the kidneys, right? And what the body needs, the rest get thrown out, and it get right to the outside, right? Or it's called waste product. So which means to filter the waste from the blood leads to chronic kidney disease. Remember, the kidneys have a function. Each part of the body has a function. Like I said, cardiovascular, the heart, the brain, the kidneys, the eyes, and also the metabolic system. Each system in the body plays a crucial part, and we should make sure that all these crucial parts are taken care of. So it's like your car, the motor. Every little thing in the motor plays a crucial part. If you're not going to have your motor checked regularly, then why would we cry if our motor packs up? If this packs and that packs, now it's going to cost us a lot of money. It's normal. We are human beings. We do the same with our vehicles, the same thing we do with our bodies. But I just urge you to be a little bit extra careful with your body, because a motor you can replace. You can't replace a body part just like that. It's going to cost you money. Most of the time you can't replace it, especially if you don't have money. You can't replace your health. A motor vehicle you can replace, but a health, no. A life, no. You can't replace a life. Remember, they say you can have all the wealth, but if you don't have health, I'm sorry, there's very little you can do. Wealth cannot buy health. Don't forget that part. Right, so let's continue. Let's talk about the eyesight, right? It's also said that hypertension causes damage to the tiny blood vessels in the eye, which can lead to blindness, and that's a fact. If you feel that blurriness all the time, blurriness, blurred vision that you can't see, don't ignore it. There's something wrong. Where there's a smoke, there's a fire. Go have it checked out. It's your own health. Be very careful about it. Take precaution. Get it checked out. It doesn't matter. Sometimes it's going to cost you to go to the pharmacy and they're going to charge you something. Rather let them charge you a little fee to have that checked, especially if you don't have a blood pressure machine. Then wait till the end when it's going to cost you lots of money, and most of the time we don't have that big bank account or that heavy purse all the time laying around which can pay for stuff like this, right? Just be careful. So let's continue. Metabolic system. But the metabolic system means diabetes complications. It gets exacerbated through high blood pressure, and that's a fact. It is so detrimental for a person suffering from diabetes that will also find out that they have high pressure now. High blood pressure is no joke. And having diabetes, and you find out that you are diagnosed with high blood pressure or just borderline high blood pressure, it put extra pressure on you, which means you should be extra cautious. Remember, life is important. Don't waste it. Take care of it. Right. Then also, how other factors affects life. A smart one. This one I like. Remember, high blood pressure can also affect sexual dysfunction. It causes sexual dysfunction in both men and women. Not only men, not only women, in both men and women. Your high blood pressure affects it. Remember, everything is about blood flow. If we don't get blood flow to certain organs or to certain parts of the body, there's going to be a problem. And one of these problems also is sexual dysfunction. So be careful about that, which means there's a peripheral disease. There can also be peripheral disease in the body. That's what blood pressure affects. High blood pressure affects peripheral system, which means a peripheral disease, which means it causes pain to limbs. Your limbs, very painful limbs, doesn't pain for nothing. If you feel that your limbs are always paining and everything, when something happens to your body, it happens for a reason. When there's this happy feeling in your body, or if your body feels awkward, or if your body is telling you something, aches, pains, or whatever the case may be, take precaution. Take note of it. The body will always tell us something. And if the body tells us something, that means there's something wrong. That means we need to go have something checked out. We need to make sure that everything functions. If not 100%, 99.999% is good enough for me. But you have one body, you have one life, you have to take care of it. There's also overall impact on health, meanings that you will have poor quality of life. If you don't take care of your blood pressure, or if you don't take care of anything that's healthy related to your body, you will experience poor quality of life. And I promise you, nobody wants to have poor quality of life. It's not nice to have poor quality of life. Nobody deserves to have poor quality of life. That's what I'm saying. Take care of yourself. Don't ignore the signs of high blood pressure. High blood pressure, once again, is a silent killer. It doesn't affect me or you. It affects about 1.8 billion people across the globe are affected with it. And it doesn't discriminate. Remember, it doesn't discriminate. And what makes it even worse, it makes it even worse for people from the ages 40 and upwards. Then we have to be extra careful. But it doesn't mean people younger can also be affected by high blood pressure. High blood pressure is real. It affects the whole world. It doesn't discriminate. It's there. Take care of it. And if you don't, nobody else is going to take care of it. What we can take from this is that it's a fact that we need to take care of our health. We've got this one body. We've got this one life. When they say a cat has got 9 lives, and sometimes people say, no, I've been there, escaped this, escaped that. Nah, there's no one life left, one life. No. It was not your time. But why should you wait until it's your time when you can take care of yourself now? Right? We need to take care of our lives. We need to take care of our health. And again, take care of your blood pressure. Have a check regularly, or get yourself a high blood pressure machine where you can monitor yourself. And the minute you experience that something not right, go and see your physician, go to the pharmacy, or go to, if you're at work, we have a sister at work, go to her, let her check your blood pressure again, or even if you have a male that's at work, let them check it again, and they will for sure direct you to the right people to make sure that everything goes hunky-dory with you. Till the next time, we chat again.